his sons Isaac, and his sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the cave of Machpelah in the field of Ephron. That place he bought the land. Remember, bought the burying place for the family where Sarah was buried, the same place he was buried. So Ishmael and Isaac buried their father. It is worth doing. Though Ishmael had been removed from the land from Abraham, he has separated himself from Ishmael because Ishmael wasn't a covenant son. So he had to be separated. And Yahweh authorized it. Verse 10. The field which Abraham purchased of the sons of Heth, there was Abraham buried, and Sarah his wife. And it came to pass after the death of Abraham that Elohim, Yahweh, blessed his son Isaac, and Isaac dwelt by the well Lahairoi. So, call it anointing somebody to a position or to office. This is kind of Yahweh himself doing the anointing. Calling somebody to take over a position. Your father Abraham was occupying this land, was occupying this position. Now it's your turn to continue where your father stopped. So the inheritance, everything, all the message that Yahweh was passing on to Abraham is now bequeathed or given to the son. The son has to take over. The baton has been here handed to Isaac. Isaac had to continue the journey. Now Isaac has gotten a wife. So we are now looking at Isaac's family. Isaac's family. So it's Isaac plus Rebecca now. Rebecca, is it? Isaac and Rebecca. And they are going to have their own children. So who are these children? That is the next port of call. We can see that Yahweh, from calling Terah, now Terah stopping at Haran, from there Yahweh separated them, the family, took Abraham. Now Abraham got into the land of Canaan. Yahweh blessed him there and made sure that he was safe, protected him. There he fulfilled the promise he made with him by giving him a son who is part of the seed that we are looking at. So we've seen Abraham, we've seen Isaac, and Isaac is going to begin his family. And from there, Yahweh is going to take again a seed, not seeds. So the family of Yahweh. At the end of the day, all we are looking at is the family of Yahweh. Even up to these latter days we are living. Family of Yahweh. Who are they? And why are they constituted as family of Yahweh? What qualifies them to be families of Yahweh? Family of Yahweh has certain conditions. Family of Yahweh must qualify to be part of it, and all the conditions must be met. Now these are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's handmaid, bare unto Abraham. And these are the names of the sons of Ishmael, by their names according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nebajoth, and Kedar, and Adbeel, and Mibsam, and Mishma, and Dumah, and Massa, Hadar, and Kema, Jetor, Naphish, and Kedema. All these children up to today, they are across the world, particularly still within the Middle East. Children of Ishmael, they are still there. And at the end of the day, when Muhammad, brought his religion, they flowed to it. 16. These are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names by their towns and by their castles, 12 princes according to their nations. So, somewhere along the line, Ishmael, we are told that Ishmael had 12 princes, 12 nations, or, nations of people. Each of the 12 is considered as a nation. So there are 12 of them. No wonder in the Arab world, you see them, there are so many with different names. Verse 17. And these are the years of the life of Ishmael. 137 years. He breathed and died and was gathered unto his people. Verse 18. And they dwelt from Havilah unto Shur, that is before Egypt, as thou goest towards Assyria, and he died in the presence of all his brethren. So he departed, he died. And they buried him. Where did they bury him? They must have buried him outside that portion of land Abraham bought. He's not part of the family. So he was part of Abraham, but he wasn't part of the family. So it was, because there's no record showing that he was buried there. Verse 19. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, and daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padanaram. We are told that Abraham sent his servant to go to his hometown, to his own place. And we hear that Bethuel at that time was within Syria. So Rebekah came from that area of the world, Syria. Perhaps the present Syria we have, or we know today. She came from that side of the world. She was the sister of Laban. This Laban we are going to hear about this Laban. Laban is going to feature prominently as we move in to chapter 26, 27, 28. Laban is going to feature prominently. 21. And Isaac entreated Yahweh for his wife, because she was barren, and Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. All those that Yahweh called, at one time or the other, issue of getting children eludes them, particularly the early fathers. Why was it so? One would think, or one would say, that Yahweh was not all that in hurry, wasn't in hurry, was taking care, making sure that the seed line come according to his will, not according to the will of human being. So he was making sure that there will be nothing that will shortchange his plan. A character must come at his own time. Isaac came at his own time, at Yahweh's own time. So the children that Isaac is going to produce or bring into the world must come at Yahweh's own time, at Yahweh's appointed time. That is very important. It's like the beast trying to emerge. In this letter, the Bible says that the beast will want to emerge, but he that withstands him or withholds him will continue to stand against him until he moves away, and the beast will come. And the beast will come in Yahweh's appointed time, at Yahweh's own time. So everything works within the timetable of Yahweh. Nothing just happened by accident. Yahweh makes sure that whatever that we pass through, we see in this world, comes according to his own plan. And the children struggled together. Whose children? The children of Isaac. These two babies, twins, coming out, but they were struggling. Who is to come out first? Who is to come out first? So they troubled the woman. They troubled Rebecca, who had prayed for a child or children for that long. And incidentally, when they were coming, when she took in, she was to bear, twins. And these twins were to be fighters. They were to show the world the stuff they are made. They are going to make the world, make or unmake the world. And that is what we see today. That struggle that started from the stomach, from the womb of Rebecca, is also pushing the world left, right, and center till today. Verse 23. And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations, can you hear that? 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other, and the one people shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger. One will be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger. Yahweh is always doing his own thing according to his will. Though the elder at the end, the one that pushed first, came out first, becomes the elder. But Yahweh is going to reverse it, and he has spoken it, that it will be reversed. The younger will be the head. And who are they? Let's look at their names before we say a little bit about them. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb, and the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Even as that little born baby, he had hair all over his body, and he was a red man, as red as Esau. So was a red man. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. So Esau and Jacob are born. Esau and Jacob. Esau, Jacob. So this is the elder now. Esau is the elder. The younger is Jacob. But Yahweh changed the equation. This one is going to be the elder. This one is going to turn to be younger, or servant. And this one is going to be head. So, equation is changed. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. What does that mean? Esau was a hunter. Esau was a man of the field. His occupation was in the field, hunting animals. He wasn't a farmer, but Jacob was a farmer. Jacob was a farmer. How do we know? We shall know in chapter 26, when the tricks are going to be played out. The mother said to Jacob, go into the barn, get a sheep or lamb or goats, prepare them, skin them properly, and let me take charge of what is going to happen. So that was what he was rearing or producing. He was animal husbandry fellow, and he was in charge of those kind of home animals, while the senior brother was out there hunting the wild animals. 27. And the boys grew, 28. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sowed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. A red man is looking for a red pottage. Therefore was his name called Edom. He needed something red. He was fainting. So in order to, deal with his hunger, he said, whatever it will cost, give it to me. I'm ready to pay the price. Let's hear him. 31. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. Sell me your birthright. Two brothers. What happened? Yahweh has decreed that this elderly one, who is, the one that is going to lead the family, at the end of the day is going to lose his position to his younger brother. And this is it, 31. They began the whole thing began to castrate itself. 31 there, 32. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? So hunger hit him with his mouth, with his head. He confessed that the birthright is nothing to him. Take it, and let me save myself from dying. And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. But later we see that all the whole of his life he pursued his brother. Even up to today, he's still pursuing his brother. The sons, the children, in this later day, they're still doing those things that these two men began from the womb. 34. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Esau sold his birthright. Gone. What Yahweh says will happen here has happened. No debate. It has happened. Now, the spiritual transfer has taken place. Out of his mouth he confessed he has nothing to do with it. Let it go. It went to the younger one. But the spiritual side hasn't been executed. And for it to be executed, because just saying it doesn't until it literally manifests, until hands off. So at the end of the day, we see that it's going to be done with fight, struggle. Let's enter chapter 26. chapter 26, Isaac went to Gerar, dwelt in Gerar. Where is Gerar? Gerar is the same Abimelech Abimelech in Philistine, land of Philistine. So he left Canaan and went to Philistine. And he dwelled there for some years, quite a number of years. He whispered to the wife, don't tell anybody that we're husband and wife. Just say you are my brother. The same thing Abraham did. That was what we see happening here. Why was it going on that way? Now, these people were in a hostile environment. Now, let us catch it. How is this applying to us? What we are studying is history of our lives. History of Israelites is our history. What happened here is what is happening today. But we may not take it, or we may not know it, or we may take it for granted. Mm-hmm. What happened in this particular, this is people, they are a handful of, people, persons of Yahweh. There are not many. Now, they have to contend with massive, numerous Gentile world. The Jebusites were there, the Amorites were there, the Canaanites were there, the Philistines were there. All those, Gentile world that were terrible, hostile, wicked, evil. The worst thing is that they worship idol, they worship Satan. Image, things that they molded, they worshipped wood, they worshipped stone, they worshipped anything, all in the name of pleasing their master Satan. So, I guess that if you are in a land and you don't abide by the culture of that land, you'll be in trouble. Mm-hmm. That land will hate you. You don't speak their language. You don't be in this land, for instance, you don't speak their language, you don't speak very well, your intonation or your accent is terrible, like most of us in Africa. My own is horrible. Now, when you speak in their midst, they will lift their face and look at you. And what that says is that you are not part of them. You are just an odd person. So all these things were things they had to contend. Mixing with them, going into their marketplace to buy, it was just, and you have your own pathway, your covenant way, which you must keep, and they don't keep your way. And it's easy for them to absorb you into their culture, because at the end of the day, you want to please them, you want to get some things, favor, and so on and so forth. And that's why they were living from one place to the other. They were living from Canaan to, at times, Egypt. In fact, Abraham went to Egypt. He later went to this Gerar, Philistine. And it wasn't easy. And the hostility of the land is that if they see any woman, it's their own. Oh, this is second of Sodom and Gomorrah. The kind of thing that is happening today. So they were playing safe. Each time Abraham plays safe. Here we see Isaac playing safe. Everything was just repeating itself. But why were they living from Canaan? Famine. Perhaps drought. They were, kind of nomadic people. They had animals, they tended, and they needed pasture, they needed green environment, water for their animals. So they had to go to places where they would get greener, pasture for their animals, water. They had to move. And fear was in their hearts. Though Yahweh had promised them, He will be with them. He will fight their battle. He will do it. Like today, his word, as we read from the scripture, is his voice. It is his spirit. That when we hear it, at times we take it for granted that Yahweh will act for us, that Yahweh will fight our battle. So we go everywhere afraid, with lies following us. That is what is happening. That is what is happening. At times we think if we tell the truth, they will not believe us, and we will implicate ourselves. So here, Isaac wondered, if I tell them I am so and so, husband of Rebekah, the result will be death, so that they will take Rebekah. So he repeated what the father did. But Yahweh will intervene. Yahweh will intervene. Let's see verse 4. And I will make thy seed. Yahweh is speaking here now. Yahweh has called his attention. Let us see from verse 2. And Yahweh appeared unto him and said, Go not down into Egypt. Who went to Egypt before? Abraham. Don't go there. Don't. The Bible didn't tell us why he said don't go there. Because if he had ventured go to enter Egypt, the wife would have lost. Maybe he would have lost his life as well. The wife would have been taken. So he said, don't go there. Dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee. So Yahweh allowed him to stay in the side, this Philistine. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and I will bless thee. For unto thee and unto thy seed I will give all these countries. Not only Canaan, he will sojourn in Canaan. Even in that land of Philistine he stepped in, Yahweh will give it to him. Yahweh will give him all the Amorite countries, nations. So that was a kind of promise that Yahweh made to Abraham. And I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father. Yahweh is saying here, what I did to Abraham, what I said to Abraham, the covenant I made with Abraham, I'm making it with you. And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Let's get it straight. In the lifetime of Isaac, Isaac had only two children, Esau and Jacob. So were they stars? Were they as stars of heaven? Were they numerous as stars of heaven? Were they so plenty? Did they fill the earth? So, would we say Yahweh is lying? This is prophecy. This is the word of Yahweh that is facing us. That is not even fulfilling now that we're in Gentile world. The children of Israel are many, but they are going to go down again. So they are not yet as stars of heaven. So when will it be? When the remnant will get into the land, when Yeshua would have come into this earth, when the covenant will be the springboard through which all nations of the world will live in peace, will live in harmony, will live in the way of Yahweh, that is when Yahweh is speaking. So Yahweh, figuratively, Yahweh is looking at the future. Perhaps when you talk about the future, talk about the new heaven and the new earth. Yes. Listen to him, you will hear that this promise is not just that time, not even now. Though Yahweh made them plenty, made them numerous, even in Egypt and all that, they came back. But each time they were reduced, because when they sinned, he deal with them. Many will die, remnant will escape, and he scattered them, and up to today. There are many, no doubt about that, but they are not as stars of heaven, because the whole world is not, blessed as it were. The whole world. Yahweh is talking about a time when the whole world will be worshiping him. When the whole world will know righteousness. when the whole world will know truth and follow truth, when the whole world will walk in the light of the covenant commandments, the light of Yeshua, will walk according to his way, not the way of the Gentiles or the way of the world. So that is when the time that Yahweh is looking at. Because and in thy seed, remember, it's not talking about seeds, it's talking about seed. In thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. So is the seed of Yahweh's promise here of seed. This seed is the seed that Yeshua is going to produce. How will Yeshua produce this seed? Can somebody tell us, how will Yeshua produce this seed? This promise that is being made in chapter 26, verse what is that? Verse what is that? Verse 5, verse 4, sorry. Verse 4. And he said, out of the seed that Yahweh is looking at, then the whole nations or countries of the world, nations of the earth, be blessed. That seed is Yeshua. Yeshua is coming back with righteousness. And anybody who believes in Yeshua, now you talk about faith, this is it here now. This is how the seed of Yeshua is going to be the blessings that we cut out across the world. Anybody that has faith in Yeshua, now what happens? The person will live in righteousness of Yeshua, in holiness of Yeshua, in the covenant commandment of Yeshua, so when these are happening, righteousness, holiness, keeping the covenant commandments, what will happen? The whole world will be like heaven. The whole world will be like heaven. Cheating will stop. Covetousness will stop. Lying will stop. Murder will stop. Worshipping Satan will stop. Everything that is sin, evil, wickedness will stop. So all of them who embrace covenant way of Yahweh now, becomes the very seed that will bless nations of the world. This is what Yahweh is saying. So when will it happen? Yeshua hasn't returned. The earth hasn't been cleansed. In fact, the product is what he's trying to pick now, so that all those that are hearing, putting their ears to the covenant commandment, following Yeshua's instruction, they are the people that is packaging to go and inherit the land. From that land, he will nurse them, he will train them, and he will put them on the pedestal of righteousness and holiness, which reigns in heaven. That way the whole world will be blessed. That way the whole world will be brought. Now, look at the standard, verse 26, verse 5. What did he say? Part of what Yahweh was recounting there is how we're going to live. So Abraham set a standard. Abraham's standard. What is Abraham's standard to what we are talking about here? Righteousness, holiness, and the world becoming a wonderful place to live. What did Abraham do that set the standard? Abraham kept or heard the voice. Abraham obeyed. obeyed Yahweh's voice. Yahweh's voice. What else did he do? Are we there? Do we have our Bible? What else did he do? His voice. Kept his voice. Kept his charge. Kept Yah's charge. Yeah, Yah's charge. All the ways of Yahweh was kept. What else? He kept his what? Commandments. Commandments. Kept Yah's commandments. What else? Status. Kept Yah's status. What is status? Statutes. What is Yah's status? Kept Yah's what? Laws. So these are the things that Yahweh is saying, that time is coming when people will heed to what Abraham did, setting the standard. By this standard, when everybody beholds it and Yeshua is the leader, Yeshua becomes the head. The head of government of the earth. Referring to Isaiah chapter 9 verse 6 and 7. Somebody read it for us. Do you know, open it for us. Isaiah 9, 6 to 7. When this happens, and everybody comes under his jurisdiction, under his control, under his reign, and abide in his instruction, so the products of obedience to Yah's word will inherit the earth, and these are the people that the Spirit of Yahweh will pour his blessing upon, and the whole earth will be blessed. Read it for us. Isaiah. Yeshua is coming to be the head.
For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder.
The government shall be upon his shoulder.
And his name shall be called Wonderful.
His name shall be called Wonderful.
Counselor.
Wonderful Counselor.
The mighty Yahweh.
The mighty Yahweh.
The everlasting Father. The Prince of Peace. 7. Of the increase of his government and peace, there shall be no end.
No end, yeah?
Upon the throne of David, and upon his kingdom, to order it, and to establish it with judgment, and with justice, from henceforth, even forever. The zeal of Yahweh of hosts will perform this.
Yahweh will do this. Yahweh will perform this. So Yeshua is coming to put this standard in place. Abraham has started it. Yeshua set the standard. What we are learning today, what we are doing, is what Yeshua did. And that is the standard Abraham set. It's been there. Even before Israel went to Egypt, Yahweh gave this standard to Abraham. Abraham obeyed them all. Whatever is Yahweh's charge, whatever is Yahweh's commandments, whatever is Yahweh's status, whatever is Yahweh's laws, whatever is Yahweh's ordinances, Abraham kept them all. And it pleased Yahweh. And that's why he was a favorite. That's why he was a father of faith. That's why Yahweh can attest for him here. So, said, in the way I was with your father, because your father obeyed my voice, kept my commandment, kept my charge, kept my laws, in the same way I'm going to be with you. So what do? Isaac, pick up the standard. Follow the standard. Do not depart from it, because that is my promise, covenant with Abraham. Verse 6. And Isaac dwelt in Gerar. So in Philistine, Isaac dwelt there. And the men of the place asked him of his wife, and he said, She is my sister. For he feared to say, She is my wife. Lest, said he, the men of the place should kill me for Rebekah, because she was fair to look upon. The same thing was said by Abraham. He feared. Hostile nation they were. Anybody would have said the same thing. Anybody would have done the same thing. Fear was upon him. Shortly, we saw Yahweh speaking to him. He said, Fear not, do not fear, do not be afraid. But we see Yahweh again coming to reassure him. He said he had fear, and that's why he lied. He had fear. And that's why we must draw close to Yahweh every time. Because if we don't do this, human being is prone to fear. Human being is in the terrain of fear. The nation we are in their land, the Gentiles we are, they make us afraid. They make us by their acts, by their deeds, by their evil ways of behavior, they make us afraid. That when we draw close to Yahweh, we can outsmart them with our boldness. It happened in the days of apostles. In Acts of Apostles chapter 4, we read about when the disciples were clamped down into prison because of preaching the name of Yeshua. They said, don't preach this name again. They said, what can we preach? What else? They want them to be preaching the Gentile, whatever those Jewish people were bound to. Don't mention his name whatsoever. They clamp them into prison. They think when they get them, cane them, flog them, treating them, then cajole them and tell them not to call this name again. They thought they will obey. What did they do? They went inside one of their fellows, brethren house. They pick up fast. They prayed. And Yahweh heard them. They said the place shook like anything. By the time they came out, they became bold again. Nobody was able to stop them. And the Jewish people had no power over them again. We never saw them arresting them. From thence on, they moved on. They were pursuing them at their own time, whenever they went on. But these people were bold. Their boldness outwitted them. Their boldness was super. That at times when they look at them, they say, they're common illiterates, they're farmers, they're fishermen, they're nobody. They just ignore them. But the name of Yeshua continued to ring bell everywhere. As today, the Gentile war stopped us. The Pharisees and Sadducees and the priests of the Jews in those days that stopped them from calling the name of Yeshua, they were the people that were exported into the Gentile world, mixed up with the Gentile world, gave the Gentile world the liberty to even mix their religion with the Bible. And at the end of the day, these people came out to be Gentile Christians. They became Christians. And they changed they literally removed his name completely. Though the Jews never put his name in their writings or their papers or their whatever. They never. Or their Talmud. They never. They didn't want him. They didn't want to call his name. So the name did not even, wherever the Jewish people saw it by the writings of the apostles and all that, because after they destroyed Jerusalem and they carted away all the books, papers, documents, writings, letters of the disciples. They took them away. In fact, history says that Rome, papacy, collected everything and put them, even today you still get them in archive. If anything should happen, somebody will sneak in there. The person will get as many. How did Martin Luther get the Bible out in the first place? Because the Bible itself was hoarded by them. Pope hoarded the Bible, took the Bible away. And somehow, Martin Luther stumbled upon it and took it away. And that was it. That was what we are reading today. But by that time, they have mutilated and removed so many things. But we bless Yahweh that at the end, we still had the scripture. We still had the Torah. We still have the Bible today. Let's move on. And Isaac dwelt in Gerar, and we've read that, verse 8. And it came to pass, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, king of Philistines, looked out at a window and saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting with Rebekah, his wife. So maybe he was kissing the woman. I said, that man had told me lies. That man, a brother cannot be hugging or, hugging the wife. Hugging the sister. The way this man is doing. This man must be somebody else. They must be husband and wife. Let me go and inquire. Verse 9. And Abimelech called Isaac and said, behold, of a surety, she is thy wife. She is thy wife. How sayest thou, she is my sister? And Isaac said unto him, because I said, lest I die for her. And Abimelech said, what is this that thou hast done unto us? One of the people might likely have lain with thy wife, and thou shouldest have brought guiltness upon us. One of the men would have slept with the woman. By hiding this truth, something would have gone wrong. And if it has happened, it would have been a snare, it would have been a trouble, it would have been... Because they know, somehow, these people know, the Gentile world, the Philistines, they know that Isaac is different. He is from a covenant-keeping Yahweh. And they know what Yahweh can do. They know. They know the history of Israel. They know that in one way or the other, Yahweh can do wonders. So they felt that it would have been a taboo, a man like that, because they know that that man was a holy man. So if they see you as a holy person, they touch your wife, they fear that bad omen, trouble will come to the land. So he was afraid. So, but you would have put us in danger. If anything had happened, we would have been in danger by now. Verse 11. And Abimelech charged all his people, saying, he that toucheth this man or his wife shall surely be put to death. Do you think it was just Abimelech saying it? Yahweh, who is in charge? Because when the fear of Isaac was not, he could not contain it. He had to say the truth because he's been caught red-handed. He's been caught either kissing the wife or hugging the wife, or, as husband and wife can, relate intimately. So he said, no, these people cannot be brothers and sisters, or brother and sister doing what they are doing. This is so ordinary. So Yahweh came in there, intervened, because earlier Yahweh saw the fear of Isaac. So when Abimelech heard the truth, he couldn't go beyond what he heard. To say, I bet you let us down. Why did you do this? Kill him. Because it would have been the opportunity to kill him, because he told them lies. But look at what he said. Instead of taking vengeance or taking, resorting to assault Isaac, he now called his people and said, this man is a different man. Don't touch his wife. Don't touch him himself. So that which he feared, Yahweh removed it. Verse 12. Then Isaac sowed in that land and received in the same year an 100-fold, and Yahweh blessed him. So the hand of Yahweh was upon him, even in that land, though he was afraid. Was he thinking Yahweh was not there? Yahweh, when he was going there, Yahweh said, don't worry, dwell in the land, I will be with you. Do not fear, I'm in charge. Like a human being, a little while he may have forgotten, and you're going to live like a flesh. Fear caught up with him, he told them lies. But after he made that open confession. We must openly confess at every point in time. Because let us alone in this our present time, we will continue to lie. Abimelech, Isaac, what did you do? We will just tell Abimelech, nothing. That would have been danger. Yahweh would have stayed back and Isaac would have been in trouble. But as he opened his mouth to say the truth, Yahweh intervened straight away and stopped the heart of Abimelech to think foolishly, to do any harm against his son. So he protected him. Verse 13. And the man waxed great and went forward and grew until he became very great. Yahweh blessed Isaac. Isaac's blessing. Isaac's blessing was great. Bible said it was great blessing he had. Great blessing. He had. Yahweh blessed him greatly. Very great. Sorry. Very great. So Abraham was blessed, had great blessing. Isaac had very great blessing. And we see that Jacob is going to have double or triple of that blessing. There was somewhere Bible put it in a particular statement or language that he was most blessed. So when we walk with Yahweh, Yahweh will not leave you empty-handed. That is what this place is teaching us. If you continue to follow the principle of Yahweh, the standard of Yahweh's way of life, the covenant way, that is the standard. That is what Israelites are called to do, to follow. As an Israelite, you are a covenant keeper. Once you continue to keep that, Yahweh will surely bless you. But let me give you one secret. Yahweh's blessing doesn't come immediately. He will allow you, he will watch you, he will see you follow his covenant commandment. And most times it's not easy for us to follow his covenant commandment. At times it's not easy. But Yahweh wants us to follow it as easily and quickly as possible so that things will begin to work for us. But at times we draw ourselves back. At times we hold ourselves so hard, so bad, so backward that Yahweh begin to wonder. But his grace is always there to help us to sometimes fast track. And so the rest of the story here we see, verse 14 there, says, for he had possession of flocks and possession of herds, great store of servants, and the Philistines envied him. Yahweh blessed Isaac so much that the Philistines envied. Do you know what is envy? When somebody begin to jealous you, when somebody begin to think you have surpassed, overpowered, you've climbed higher, you've raised the height that he doesn't see you again. So he begins to jealous, begins to think of how to do you bad. Were they thinking how to do him bad? Yes. The well they dug in that land, they occupied it. In fact, they went and filled them off. Filled all the wells. Covered the wells. They dig again, they covered it. They dig again, they covered it. This continued every now and then. So let's look at verse 20. And the herdmen of Gerar did strive with Isaac because they jealoused him. Isaac's husband saying, the water is ours. Everything was theirs. Whatever Isaac did was theirs. And he called the name of the well Esek. Earlier I told you that these people were living in hostile land. It was just the grace of Yahweh. And what do happen every time, even as we are in the Gentile world today, is that every day Yahweh leads us in, leads us out, help us to get our food, eat our food. Even the peace we have is about him. Do you know the confrontation you have spiritually? At times you are not at peace with yourself. At times you are not at peace with your spouse. At times you are not at peace with your family. You have been fought by spiritual powers. And most times they manifest physically. Here we see it manifesting physically. Don't think what happened to those our fathers are not happening to us. That is what we experience today. Even in their lands, that's what we experience today. Most of the things that are happening, particularly now that everywhere is bombarded with spiritual powers, spiritual beings, forces, Satan, demons and forces of darkness covering everywhere. And that's why the Bible said this is the dark days. The days that is quite very, very dark. Because the children or the forces of evil is everywhere. They fight and make sure that we go nowhere. But does that work? No. We continue to survive, we continue to strive, we continue to move forward. And you move forward more when you are very, very prayerful. When you are very, very prayerful. So the fathers suffered it. Don't say, you are in the land, you are suffering too much. It's not only you. The fathers suffered it. And we are being told how they did their own, so that we follow in the same way. Verse 23. And he went up from thence to Beersheba. So even the king had asked him, time for you to go, leave our land. The king and all his body men and all his servants became so aggressive. It's time for the man to leave them. Reason. So your men is increasing. Your animals are increasing. Your blessings is multiplying. Begin to envy him. Verse 24. And Yahweh appeared unto him. Yahweh again. Yahweh surfaced again. Continue to strive. Continue to move forward. Yahweh will always come handy to rescue you. At one point or time or the other, in as much as you persevere, Yahweh will show up in your life. Yahweh will show up in your life. Let us hear what he will tell him here. And Yahweh appeared unto him the same night. They had asked him, it's time for you to leave our land. And said, I am Yahweh of Abraham, thy father. Fear not. You see, fear was the torment. Fear was the trouble. Fear was the number one enemy. Enemy may want to fight us physically. But the greatest enemy that fights us or confronts us is fear. Because enemy comes around blowing fear in our face, in our heart, in our mind. When they shake us with fear, physically and spiritually, if you don't know Yahweh, you will collapse and fall for them. And whatever they tell you to do, you do. And that will become a tragedy. Yahweh doesn't like that. Doesn't want us to sleep at all. Doesn't want us to fall. Yahweh appeared unto him the same night and said, I am Yahweh of Abraham thy father. Fear not, for I am with thee, and will bless thee, and multiply thy seed for thy servant Abraham's sake. For my servant Abraham's sake. So Yahweh is saying, what I did for Abraham, I will do for you. I look at Abraham, I made a covenant with him, and that covenant I have passed to you. I will not forsake you, I will not deny you, I will not leave you in fear, I will help you. So gather yourself. Yahweh is with you. Yahweh will bless you. The blessing he has pronounced and he's given to you, you will maintain it, you will get it. Nobody is taking it away from you. Not these people, they will not take away your blessings. Even when you are living, they will not fight you. You will live peacefully. If Yahweh didn't show up here, they would have dealt with that man, they would have killed him. He wouldn't have had the opportunity to move to Beersheba. He wouldn't have had the opportunity. Because that envy was so much, it was wicked envy. It was grievous. They wanted to eliminate him truly. So, what he did, I believe he called on Yahweh, and Yahweh showed up. Yahweh saw his trouble. Yahweh saw the mess, the fear that was on him, and promising that that blessing will remain, that he will multiply him. The seed that is still, that Yahweh had poured to Abraham unto him, that seed, the expectation of that seed is on and will continue to be on until it's achieved. Thy seed for my servants, thy seed for my servants. So Yahweh says he promised Abraham a seed. That seed must surely come. It will not end in you. Through you that seed will come. And we see that that seed had been given by Esau and Jacob. But Jacob was chosen as the main seed, the very seed that will beget the very seed that Yahweh's eyes is upon. Let's look at verse 28. And they said, we saw certainly that Yahweh was with thee. So by this time, Abimelech, I skipped 25, 26, but I just want to make a brief explanation. That Abimelech had that time told Isaac to check out. And what was the reason? The reason was because this man was growing in power, was growing in strength, was growing in family. His family was expanding, business was booming. They were jealous. Oh, you must leave us. Otherwise, one day you will stand up and take our land. That was what Pharaoh in Egypt told themselves. They said, if we leave these if we leave these Israelites, they will grow in power, they will grow in strength, before you know it, they will take over the land. Because the way they were, let us finish them, let us reduce their population, let us give them hard job, so that they will not one day think to bring foreign enemies against us and take over our land. If they take over our land, we are gone. So the same thing is, that is the attitude of nations, attitude of the character of people. In America, most of those blacks, they are telling them to go home from where you come from. You come from Africa, go back to Africa. That's what they are telling them. But they know where they come from. Very soon they will start going. As Yahweh intervenes, all his children will be returning to Israel. Yahweh is hearing all these things. He knows, he understands. And he said he will gather his children. And that's why we are saying, wherever you are, wake up. Wake up. Because all these things that is brewing now, all these things that is happening now, we think heaven is not taking record, heaven is not taking notice. Do you know how many angels that are on earth here every day protecting Israelites? Protecting them. So that the enemy will not eat us raw. If they are to leave or to move away 24 hours, before you know it, they will just swallow Israelites. They swallow them. So we must continue to trust Yahweh. 28. And they said, we saw certainly that Yahweh was with thee. And we said, let there be now an oath between us, even between us and thee, and let us make a covenant with thee. So these nations, they had rallied around, come to Isaac in Beersheba. Because they asked him to leave their land, he left their land, he went to Beersheba. Well, animals increased, business increased, his name began to ring bell everywhere. So they said, let us go and make covenant with this man. Otherwise, one day, he has a land now in Beersheba. That area is his own. The land of Canaan is now his own. One day, he will just come and colonize us. So if we enter agreement, if he swore an oath, he wouldn't do that again. And that's what they came to do. So they call it covenant. Let there be now an oath between us, even between us and thee, and let us make a covenant with thee, that thou wilt do us no harm or no hurt, as we have not touched thee, and as we have done unto thee nothing but good, and have sent thee away in peace. Thou art now the blessed of Yahweh. They know that Yahweh blessed him. They know what Yahweh was working in his life. They can feel it. not sensing it. They can feel it, they can see it, they can touch it literally. Because those wells that we are dug there, they can't dig well, not even well that produce water. But this man was digging well. Yeah, when they dig, do you know what it amounts digging well in that eastern part of, within that Canaanite or Philistine environment? It took so much. So that's why they were colonizing, taking away the well they dug. At the end of the day, they sent him away. They saw the blessings rolling left, right, and center. They couldn't heed it. They said, we can see you flourishing. We want to make a covenant with. Don't kill us. Don't destroy us. We will not fight with you. No, look, let us have peace. Because there's no any nonsense. That man, the way things was going, now gone. The land will go. Verse 30. And he made them a feast, and they did eat and drink. That day they came, he made them a feast, they slept over, and in the morning swore with him that, oh, we are not going to fight, we're going to live in peace. You live in your Philistine area, we live in our place, in Canaan, in Beersheba, and we continue to let peace reign. So they departed, and Isaac dug a well in that side of the world, and it came to pass, 32, came to pass the same day that Isaac's servants came. So after they made that peace and well, Isaac's servant had gone out digging well. It wasn't easy. This is not just ordinary well. Very big well. That because in that place they water their animals. Their animals, so many animals drinking water. You know how many, the quantity of water that they need to fetch, to feed, to water those animals, to cause those animals to drink. The environment, their crops, they need water. So they needed massive water. That's why they digging well, in this. Now, the son of Isaac, any son that doesn't listen to the father is a dead son. That is a son whose father is a covenant keeper. If that son refuses or rebel against the father, we get it. We really, really, really get the wrath of Yahweh. And that's why Yahweh knew this man right from the womb. He was a wrong man. It's not part of the seed. Ordinarily would have been it was a twin. Would have been part of the blessing. But he rejected the way of blessing. Rejected the way of blessing of Yahweh. Rejected the way of covenant of Yahweh. He was a wrong man. Everything he put his hand was wrong. So he went and married in a Gentile environment. And he married two. Abraham wasn't pursuing women in the manner and the sense. Isaac wasn't going after a second wife. He would have had plenty, because even in his house there were so many ladies and concubines and so on. He would have had. He didn't. Now he went into this Gentile world, took a wife, and it brought a problem. It brought a problem in the family, because those women has caused problem. Chapter 26, we see at least verse 1, we shall see that was what infringement upon the family. How many minutes do we have? Let's see if we can touch that chapter 27. Chapter 27, Jacob receives Esau's blessing from Isaac. Now, I will be kind of cutting it and summarizing it as we go, because it's fairly a lengthy one. Let's begin with verse 1. Genesis 27, 1 to the wherever we can stop around there. And it came to pass that when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son, and said unto him, My son. And he said unto him, Behold, here I am. let's look up a bit. Chapter 26, verse 35. We see that the wife that Esau married, or the wives he married, caused problem in the family. Look at that grief. These two women, Judith and Beshmat, they brought problem to Esau, and it overflowed in the family, which were a grief of mind unto Isaac and to Rebekah. When children will not go after the way of their father and do whatever they like, they bring a woman, a wrong woman, a Jezebel-like woman, it hurts the family. It hurts the family. So it's a lesson to us. This is history of Israel. This is our history. And we must learn lesson here. To our children that are not yet married, they must listen and hear clearly that they must do the needful. Look for a woman that has the spirit of Yahweh in her, a covenant keeper, a woman that will not disobey Yahweh, a woman that will not disobey the husband, a woman that will not disobey particularly the parents of the man, because if it does happen, it will offset the family. It may cause problem to the family. You can't be steering your wheel, to the left side while the family is steering straight, moving forward. You turn it to the left or turn it to the right. You cause trouble, cause problems. It doesn't. So here, Isaac is sensing that it's time to go, go his way, die, or fall asleep. Is approaching, though he said he doesn't know the time. He called his eldest son, Esau, go into the bush. You know the best animal you kill. Get me finishing the animal that he does eat. Do nice dish, bring it to me, so that I will bless you. Now, Isaac's blessings. Yeah, we look at Isaac's blessings. Now, Esau had to go and provide, Bible call it venison, to his father, Isaac. So, when this thing was going on, Rebekah had it. Rebekah had it and called Jacob. Jacob, come. I heard what your father said. The blessing is about to go out to the wrong man. You are the right man. Go into those animals, get some of them, skin them. I will take care of the skins. Make it look like the body of your brother, because he was a hairy man. So the woman took the craft, did everything, made the skin of the animal, produced it. But meanwhile, Esau left his coat in the mother's hand. That was one of the coats he used to wear. It looks like a hairy kind of a coat. And it smelled like a huntish coat. It was a hunter. So that when this man wears it, enters in the presence of his father, the father will say, yeah, everything smells like Esau. So the woman, a crafty woman as well, Rebekah, prepared the son, Jacob, because the Bible said Isaac loved Esau, Rebekah loved Jacob. Irrespective of Esau's behavior and character and worldly way of life, Isaac still wanted to bless him. Why? Because he was following principles. He was following the human principles. Human principles said, bless the first son. Let him take upper hand in terms of inheritance. then whatever remains, share it to the others. But Yahweh said, no, I'm in charge here. I'm in control. I will do it my own way. So Yahweh, as soon as those boys came out from the womb, he reversed it. And by spiritual means, through hunger and all that, the exchange was done. Exchange was done. And the young man pronounced it with his mouth that he doesn't need the birthright. So here, the birthright is going to be exchanged physically. It's not spiritually the other side. Here is physical transmission of that birthright. So, the man has gone to the bush. Jacob went to listen to the mother. But there was a statement the mother made. Let's look at it, verse 5. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spoke to Esau, his son. And Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it. And Rebekah spoke unto Jacob, her son, saying, Behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, Bring me venison and make me savory meat, that I may eat and bless thee before Yahweh, before my death. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice. Rebekah said, Obey my voice. Why did she use that statement? It's like what Yeshua said to the disciples. Whatever he tells you to do, do it. I was in Canaan when they were, doing the marriage of one of the family members. The wine finished. Yeshua said, call the disciples, say, fill all these bowls, so fill them. The something that they used to pour water, collect water. He said, fill it with water, fill them with water. Whatever your master says to you, do. Here, Rebekah was saying, whatever, look, hear my voice. This voice you are hearing now is important in your life. If you miss it, now maybe the spiritual, it's like somebody who had a dream. In a dream, you are told you are going to be a king. That is the spiritual side. He woke up in the morning, he started jumping. All the day he continued to jump, he continued to announce it, and somebody heard it. That this is what is going to go to him, going to be a king. So the person that heard it, maybe a family member, he said, you're going to be a king. So he went into fasting. Father, change this because of this boy's attitude, because of this boy's character, because of this, because of that. Change it. Give it to me. While the boy was junketing, running up and down, drinking and womanizing and doing everything, he was going to be a king. He has dreamt of it. In the spirit. He's going to come. It's a spiritual thing. It's been given. You don't go and sleep because you've got a spiritual blessing. It has to manifest. Between the time it will manifest from the spiritual to the physical, anything can happen. It can be changed. So the mother said, you have obtained the information that you're going to be the head. You're going to be above your brother. You're going to rule the land. The baton is going to be handed to you. The blessing is coming to you. Hear my voice. Obey my voice. Because that boy would have disobeyed. Because he gave reasons. Let us listen to him. Go now to the flock and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth. Because a woman knows what the father or the husband like. Though the son may go and do what he knows how to do, the son may not cook. The woman can do it, if you like, wonderfully, in a way that the man will so love it. So say, do what I said. Get the goats. I will do the rest. And thou shalt bring it to thy father, he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death. And Jacob said to Rebekah, you see why the woman was saying, obey my voice. Because he knew that son, Jacob, will give excuse. Children can be heady at times. It's unfortunate they don't see beyond their parents. The woman saw beyond him and warned him, don't disobey me. Don't, because there is something you are not seeing now. And Jacob said to Rebekah, and Jacob said to Rebekah the mother, behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. He said that this thing will not work. Mom, this thing will not work. Do you know my brother is a very hairy man? He doesn't know what the mother was thinking. Doesn't know that the mother had worked out the mathematics just to carry it out. Come, join hands, let us work it out. Let this mass, give us the answer we need. The boy was giving an excuse. That excuse would have ruined the whole thing. Now listen, but was Rebekah doing the right thing here? That's another thing you have to find out. Was she trying to push the hand of Yahweh to do what Yahweh wanted to do? Was she helping Yahweh? At times, some people have said Rebekah's hand was like, oh, let me facilitate what Yahweh wants to do. Whatever Yahweh wants to do, he will do. But at times, again, you may not know, Yahweh may, in a way, using that opportunity to speak to the woman so that the woman will facilitate it physically, because it has manifested spiritually. The physical side is yet to be obtained. So make all the attention of the woman, and the woman may be acting it out here. Let us see what will happen. 12. My father by peradventure will feel me when I get there, irrespective of putting this coat, putting that hairy thing. My father will touch me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver. And was he a deceiver? Yeah, he was. Because the father knows him. That's why he used that word, deceiver. I will seem to him as a deceiver. Because that is his area. Everybody has his own problem. And I shall bring a curse upon me and not a blessing. So instead of bringing blessing, we end up getting a curse. And if a father curses a son, trouble. Trouble. And his mother said unto him, upon me be thy curse. The curse that will go unto you, let it fall. The woman want to take it herself. The woman was 100% sure. This woman was a spiritual woman. This woman is a woman that can pray. Remember when the two were in the stomach fighting? Who will be head? Who will come out first? Do you know what Rebekah did? Rebekah, I don't know whether it was fasting or prayer, but he went to Yahweh. Inquired, begin to query Yahweh. Why is this thing happen to me? Why am I going through this? You put them there, and you say you bring them out. Why am I going through this? Tell me what is going on. Do you know, Yahweh explained to the woman, 2 nations are in your womb fighting. Don't worry about the civil war. You obey them, you bring them out. But the civil war will continue until the very seed will come and separate them. Let's hear her. 13. Sorry, we did not finish 12. And I shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me and not a blessing. And his mother said unto him, upon me be thy curse. My son, only obey my voice. Second time, let's repeating that. Second time, obey my voice and go fetch me them. Fetch me those animals. Bring them. And he went. When he saw that, maybe the woman would have, her voice would have gone up loud, shouted. Oh, the boy went struggling and fetched and brought them to his mother. And his mother made savory meat, very tasty thing that the man liked. And such as his father loved. That is it. 15. And Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob, her younger son. See, that's where, again, the boy was caught. Esau. His clothes, his garment was left in the mother's house. When he was parting from them, that was one of his properties that was left in the house. So he took it and put it on the younger brother's body and said, okay, this is it. The cunningness, the trick is complete. Verse 16. And she put the skins of the kiss of the goats upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck. See where the woman did it? By the hand, to carry the skin of the animal, just pester it, around the hands and the neck. Because that is where the man was very hairy. And she gave the savory meat and the bread which she prepared into the hand of his son Jacob. And he came unto his father and said, my father. And he said, here I am. Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat my venison. Now, he changed everything, but his voice was not changeable. That thy soul may be blessed, may bless me. And Isaac said unto his son, how is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? And he said, because Yahweh thy father brought it to me. The animal was very cheap. Quickly, they ran to me, and I slaughtered them, and I just came quickly. You know what Yahweh can do? The boy lied. Didn't go to bush. Does he know how to shoot anything? 21. And Isaac said unto Jacob, come near, I pray thee. The mother knew what Isaac will do. We touch him, and Jacob also knew. So that's why the woman took all the kid's hair, put it everywhere that the man will touch. He went near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not. And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him, and said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he descended him, he designed him not, because his hands were hairy, as his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. Took it the blessing. 23, verse 24 now. He said, art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat, and he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said unto him, come near now and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled. See the clothes this man left, Esau left in the mother's house. The man has to smell the clothes. And he smelled of his raiment and blessed him and said, because that was the last conviction. That was what convinced Isaac, that this, though the voice is different, the hairy thing, then the clothes. So those two things brought conviction to him that the voice may not matter so much. The overwhelming evidence has been proved by two witnesses, the cloth and the hair. So he blessed him. He said, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which Yahweh has blessed. Therefore, Yahweh give thee of the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee, including Esau. Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be master over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blessed thee. Brethren, I tell you that anybody, if you're a covenant keeper today, because all Jacob's children of Jacob's, or children of Jacob, Israel, all children of Israel who came from the loins of this blessed man of Yahweh. This man was blessed by Yahweh. Anybody, whether you come from him by birth or by faith, by graft. Grafting means you believe in Yeshua, then you are grafted, following the covenant way. You are grafted into the family of Jacob, Israel. Anybody that is within this fold, following the way, the covenant way, is blessed. And when somebody stands to abuse you, curse you, insult you, and you are within this family, the person is cursing himself. The person is injuring himself. The person is going to get it. Did you hear the blessing that is poured here? And when parents bless their children, that is not from the parents, it's the word of Yahweh. It's the blessing of Yahweh that is poured out. And that is what Isaac wanted to avoid, so that this thing will not go the wrong hand. Unfortunately, Yahweh has changed the equation as he started changing it right from time. So here he let it out, the blessings was poured out. Jacob collected it. Nobody can touch Jacob. But you find out that in Israel, while they lived there, the children at the end of the day, they went to Egypt. From Egypt, they suffered, they abused them, they did everything. And Israel returned back to the land. Yahweh brought them back, kept them safe and all that. They continue to do what? Why was people touching them? You may be a child of Yahweh, an Israelite, but people are touching you. Why will people touch you? Because you are breaking his covenant. This is the key, covenant. The covenant commandment. Yahweh said you are untouchable. Yahweh said you are blessed. But you can be touchable, you can be beatable, you can be hammered, you can be punished, you can be killed because you are breaking this covenant. Anything somebody, this is where the blessing lies. Blessing. Jacob's being blessed. You receive the blessing. Beautiful. You have it. You hold it. Then what of the covenant? You can only return this covenant if you are doing it. That's what Yeshua said. Matthew chapter 5 verse 19. You must be doing it. If you don't do it, this blessing is useless. Because you crush it by not doing. Act of, when you avoid here, you're in trouble. The fact that you are blessed is not sufficient. It will only be sufficient if we do it. The mother said, hear my voice, obey my voice, listen to my voice. If he did not listen, he would have missed this blessing. So he went, he listened, and he did what mother said. And that was it. He got it. And the whole of his life, he kept on doing, kept on following. Particularly when he went to Haran. By the time we get 27, 28, when he will dash into Haran, spent almost 20 years in that land. By the time he came back, he was reformed. He became a doer. And all his life he was blessed. And that was the reason he was able to bless. Jacob himself now was able to bless the whole of Israel, the 12 tribes. And that blessing sticked. That's why he was able to pass the baton to the very seed that came, that was born, as we read in Isaiah chapter 9 verse 6 to 7. That was the reason. Let's quickly see, the end of that 27, and we'll be closing there. "39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. And thy war and thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother." So the brother has come back and heard that the deed has been done. The blessing has been taken away. Your brother has come. I thought it was you. Because when he came, he said, "Father, wake up. Eat. I've got the whole thing." He said, we are also we are quick, but somebody has come in here and has given me the food. I've eaten. This man cried. He said, "Father, is it only one? Oh, bless me. Whatever it can take, bless me. Father, bless me. Even me also. Oh, Father, bless me. Esau lifted up his voice and he wept. Bless me. And the father said, the blessing is gone. There's nothing I can do. Once it's pronounced, it's gone. Cannot bless twice. Cannot say it 2 times. But the father showed him a pity. And what the father finally say here, this last bit of the word that came from the father's mouth, is because of the problem. Now, remember the physical side. They were holding themselves. Jacob was holding him. The spiritual side. The physical side. This blessing materialized into the physical side where they have to carry sword. Who is carrying sword? This one that was given sword. Up to today still carrying sword. Why is this sword working? Because the covenant is not kept by the children, the offspring of Jacob, Israel. They don't keep it. That's why the sword is after them. So the sword is after them. And by the sword thou shalt live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. So here this blessing says, you will dominate him. I mean, he is blessed. He is going to dominate you. But you will feed, you will, by sword and all that, you'll be a war man. You will overcome as a warrior. Now, your brother will be on top. But you will have your freedom from your brother because he's going to rule you. When will that be? It shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. But will he repent? He will not repent. He will not take the way of Yahweh to liberate himself. So the thing tumbled somehow because Jacob's children, offspring, continue to break the covenant of Yahweh. So this man with his sword had opportunity to. 1 chapter only. It's all about Edom. That prophecy of Obadiah is all about Edom. Read it. Take time, read it letter by letter, word by word. You see what Yahweh says he's going to do to them. And Esau hated Jacob. You see? By this pronouncement in 40, that begins the trouble. The physical, both spiritual and spiritual and physical aspect of what is to happen in the life of this family begun after this pronouncement. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, and I will slay my brother Jacob. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau as touching thee does comfort himself, purposing to kill thee. Ostensibly, after the death of your father, you will die. He will kill you. Now, therefore, my son, obey my voice. This is the third time this woman is saying to this young boy, obey my voice, and arise, flee, thou to Laban. Remember Laban, my brother, to Haran. Go to Haran, and tarry with him a few days, until thy brother's fury turn away. Ostensibly, this few days is going to be 20 years. Until thy brother's anger turn away from thee, and he forget that which thou hast done to him, then I will send and fetch thee from thence. Why should I be bereaved or deprived also of you both in one day? Why will you both die in one day? And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these, which are of the daughters of the land, that good, what good shall my life do me? Already Esau had taken the daughters of Heth. Remember the Hittite ladies, they are Heth, they are from Heth. And the influence, the trouble they bring is causing trouble to the family already. So Rebekah said, if Jacob will take a wife from the children of Heth, the environment they were living, that she is going to even die untimely. Therefore, Jacob, you will marry from Laban. You marry from there. So I think that something was handed to him. Do not take a wife from where your brother took a wife. So that was what made part of the difference. And the man sticked to Laban. I mean to Laban and Haran. And at the end of the day, he took a wife there, and that made his life a bit easier. And the life of the father and the mother before even the father died. Let us end it here at the moment. By next week we continue with chapter 28. I don't know whether I have question, observation, comments. If we don't have, we can pray. Does that mean we don't have any query here? Are we there?
Yes.
Yeah, any question, any comments, any observation? Do you have any query? Not only here, from where we started, or any part of the Bible. Remember, we are learning the culture. Each time I do tell you that this is the traditional culture of Israel and we are learning, this is the history. We are reflecting, reorientating ourselves from what transpired in the past. And we must lodge them into our hearts. Practice them, be doers of them. Here in the Gentile world, what transpired in the life of, Abraham, Isaac, even Jacob, is happening to us today. We are in the Gentile land, which also they experienced. You can't say, because Yahweh will always tell you, oh, you are in the Gentile land. Okay, what of Abraham? What of Isaac? Their own was even worse. Our forefathers may have experienced what Adam and Eve, by the time they were chased into the Gentile world, newly when they entered into the Gentile world, because it was horrible. But everything somehow was mellowed down, and at the end of the day, Yahweh hid the name of Israelites, particularly those tribes, from the eyes and ears of the Gentile world. Even you yourself, you don't know you're an Israelite, except in recent time, Yahweh is telling you who is an Israelite and what qualifies an individual to be an Israelite. Otherwise, they will have eaten us raw. Because sin, even the sins of the fathers, the sins that we are committing, even in these last days, it's been so much, it's been so great that the Gentiles would, literally kill. Because all the blessings of Abraham, Isaac, where is it? All the blessings of Israel, Jacob, where is it? Murdering the covenant commandment murders the blessing. And that is where we are today. And we're asking for His grace to return us. Every time we pray, we should not forget to ask our, because two things are going for Israel. You do His will, He bless you. You disobey Him, then curse comes. By greater level, curse had flowed and has been following Israel, because the children of Israel have been living in disobedience. In these latter days, that we are being told and we are called back to whom we are, whom we're supposed to be. We're supposed to know who we are now, begin to practice what our fathers practiced. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the Israelites that lived in obedience. That is what Yahweh is calling us to do. So let us cue in and do the right things. And He will bless us, surely. In as much as you cue into the blessings of obedience, the blessing will return. Yahweh will remember the covenant, because that's where He looks, His name, and He will come for blessing. Even when you're in trouble, like Abraham was in trouble, Isaac was in trouble, Jacob also was in trouble. always on their side. The trouble never swallow them. Your trouble will not swallow you. Even in the Gentile world. I say my trouble will not swallow me. My problem will not swallow me. Thought you would say amen. That I'm praying for every one of us. Father, we bless your name. We thank you for your goodness, kindness, love. Thank you for your word that has gone thus far. Help us to internalize what you hear this night. Help us to look at them critically. Help us to look at your word. What do you want us to do? You said the whole duty of Israel is to hear the voice of Yahweh, is to keep his commandment, is to obey him. Father, help us to obey you, so that the blessings you have apportioned to us will be ours. We will not fall by the wayside. If we refuse to obey, then what will happen? Fear will come, trouble will come, enemy will attack, and enemy will sweep away, enemy will kill. May this not be our portion, Father. Remove them from us. Remove fear. Everything that causes fear, remove for us. Every hand of the devil that brings fear, terminate. Every power of darkness that stands against us, deal with them. We pray, give us the grace. Father, pour your mercy upon us. Pour your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding for us to cue to your word of covenant way. Your very word, which is Yeshua, help us to internalize every time, every day. May it be hunger in our souls, so that as we eat your word and drink your word, we will live by your word, do your will, and you bless us. Let your blessing continue to flow in our lives. Thank you, our Father. Tonight, guide us. Tonight, protect us. We wake up in the morning, Father, in your bosom, and we will worship you. Even as the Sabbath has begun, we will continue to dwell in your presence. Thank you, everlasting Father. In Yeshua's name we have prayed. Amen.